I'm Amy Creason with CapitalW, and I'm here with my good friend and former colleague, Vicki Cullen, for our Take5 interview. This is our segment where we ask the same 5 questions to our industry friends and family. We are here at the MCT 2024 Exchange in beautiful San Diego, California. And I'm so glad, Vicki, that you're willing to sit down with me. You've been a friend of mine for probably about a decade now, and we have had a blast working together.
Yes, we have.
And I want to talk to you because you've got just a great background, diverse roles, different companies. But I'd love for you, if you would please, to tell us kind of your history, your personal history, your career path, and all the different parts of it that you may have enjoyed or not enjoyed.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amy. Happy to be here. Yes, we've had a lot of fun and worked well together. My background probably goes back to, I'm originally from Wisconsin, and as you know, I'm a big Badger fan, but I've also crossed those lines into Florida where we're on the SEC now. Back in Wisconsin, never knew there were warmer places to live, but that time in my career, I worked for a couple different mortgage operations. Certainly didn't think I was going to end up in mortgage like most people will say, especially in secondary marketing and capital markets. Learned to work my way through all the different departments there. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know if they're just using me to see what I could do, or in the long haul, it helped me out a whole lot to figure out what I need to do in secondary. I'd learn how to work on the lock desk, then I would manage it. Then I would do the hedging and the trading, and then I would manage it. There's just different pieces throughout the secondary marketing that I probably have touched almost everything. Again, don't claim to ever know it all because there's so much out there and it constantly changes, but really got a boot camp when I first started out. Thought we'd be in Wisconsin forever. Our family's all there. My husband's family's all there. We've been together since high school. No, don't fall off your chair. Like I said, we were there, thought we'd stay there. Most of our experiences there, great friends. And then we were fortunate enough to have our first little boy. And unfortunately, he was not able to breathe through the winters. What almost killed him really saved his life too. If we had to rush him outside for, before we 911'd him, the cold would, jolt him enough. So at that time in our life, like I said, we had our little guy. We're so happy to have him. Patrick and I looked at each other and said, the doctors gave us, an opportunity to save him, but they said we'd probably have to move. He wasn't going to make it past the age of 2. Happy to say, as you know,
yes.
He is 28 years old now.
And thriving.
Doing well.
Fantastic kid.
Doing well.
Love him.
So he had a breathing difficulty, chronic asthma, chronic lung disease, and it was just a rough one for a while. So at that time in our life, we really didn't think we would move. The option was to stay there and see what would happen with all of our family doctors, which would make it a little bit easier for us from a support standpoint. But then my husband and I looked at each other and said, we got to go. We got an opportunity to keep this little guy. We got to go. So we started looking for jobs, and it was kind of a funny thing. I interviewed people come out of the woodwork in this business. Great relationships, right? People just help you out along the way. And I don't believe in coincidences. I think you know me long enough. There's nothing coincidental in life. But I was able to get an interview on a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Friday between Fannie, Freddie, and Homeside Lending. And
going south, right?
Got to go south for his breathe.
For warmer weather.
That's right. That's right. He wasn't going to make it through the winters of Wisconsin, so we had to look somewhere south, and went to interview. Had great interviews. Came back, and I swear to God, every emergency happened on a Sunday night. Got back on Sunday. He ended up in the emergency room. Monday, they all made me offers. I was very happy. I turned them all down, and my husband looked at me and said, "Vicki, what are you doing? You said we were gonna, move, do what we had to do to take care of this little guy." And I just looked back at him and said, well, I thought you'd get the job first. So,
thank you, mortgage banking.
Yes. So lo and behold, we made a decision. We didn't go to Fannie and Freddie at that time. Didn't think the weather change was enough for us. It could still be a little cool. So we started to pack our bags and move ourselves down to Homeside Lending. At the same time, got a call when the truck was in the driveway that, did you hear they got bought out by the NAB? But our first big move, we were going to do it. Packed our bags and, had great hospitals lined up for Shane down in Florida, and my husband became Mr. Mom. So our world had turned a little bit and changed a whole lot. I will tell you that I will say not my biggest accomplishment is not capital markets for the last 35 years. It is staying married.
Well, Yes, as someone who's about to celebrate her 30th anniversary, that staying married thing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you. So whenever I had a job search, we really kept it to the lower half of the country, right, just to make sure that he was okay. And there were times I worked for great companies, small companies, large companies, startup companies, settled a couple billion in bonds a month to, starting an opportunity from scratch for a secondary marketing operation. But again, did an awful lot of things, very, very thankful for the people we've met along the way. The challenges are definitely there. I think about, somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, what would you tell your younger self? And I would say, know that what you did is right. Trust yourself, trust your instincts. If you don't say what you have to say at that time, forever hold your peace.
Well, and so talking about those different companies that you work for, what's the about number of different companies?
Oh my gosh, this is when
It's
my
double digits?
This is when somebody would start singing, I've been everywhere, man. Yes, absolutely. It's probably been about, I've probably worked for 11 or 12 different companies in different capacities, managed secondary remotely before remote became a thing, and then also consulted with you, with another handful, dozen of companies, and so it's been very eye-opening. I can't walk into any secondary marketing department, nor should anybody think that everybody does it the same. We all do something different.
Exactly.
So every secondary marketing, even though we're all in the same business, it's all run a little bit differently. So I picked up different skills along the way. Obviously met a lot of different people along the way, a lot of different management strategies along the way, but I think everything just builds on itself.
Great resiliency.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let's jump into your current position. If you would, tell us a little bit about what you do and some of the people that you work with.
You bet. I work now with Freddie Mac, and I work with the secondary marketing advisors, and I help manage those relationships between Freddie Mac. And again, everything is about our seller, right? So everything that we can do to make life easier with the SMAs to what we call, Freddie Mac has coined the SMA secondary marketing advisors. Well, we can work with them, and they're all flavors, right, too. Some are, product and pricing engines and hedge advisors and MSR valuations. There's a lot of different, not one is the same again. So it's a great opportunity for me to be able to step up and use what I know from my knowledge and help bridge that gap between our sellers and the SMA partners that we have.
And in the interest of full disclosure for our viewers, I worked with Vicki previously at Freddie Mac, and we built out that group. So I'm quite familiar with what she does and how fantastically she does it.
That's the leading the witness.
All right, well, next question.
Yeah, okay.
What do you deem the most pressing issues for the mortgage industry, and how do those issues affect capital markets?
I would say hands down the whole world is trying to figure out how to get affordable housing right out to people, and the market's not behaving, it's not helping us, and again the housing pricing being so high. So I think that's a pretty slam dunk. I think that's a big effort for everybody to figure out how to make affordable housing.
Yeah, a lot of conversations here at MCT Exchange 2024. We have had some really great folks presenting as well as conversations, and you and I, as parents of young adults who are going to be these folks who want to buy houses, well, or who just need to figure out what the housing market's going to look like, in the coming 5 to 10 years. I'm listening with ears wide open because I don't know if I want all the kids to come back home.
That's true.
All right, well, let's jump to the next question. What advice would you provide to someone who is interested in pursuing a career in capital markets?
I think if you're flexible and you're looking to challenge yourself and you like math and you can think on your feet and you don't think everything is stressful, I think you can be very successful. I feel like I've always been a little bit of a air traffic controller. You got to be able to watch over what's going on from all different departments and all different aspects, and you got to like it. And then you got to figure out how is it impacting you and what do you have to look out for before it comes your way, right? So I think if people can think on their feet, it's not for everybody, right?
That's true.
But I think if you can think on your feet and you like that crazy challenge and you want to be smart with every move you make, right? There's no tomorrow. It's what you do today in secondary marketing. It's not processing for 30 or 60 days. It's not closing in 60 days. It is every minute of every day in that market moving. If you feel that you're comfortable with working with the market and knowing what's moving and monitoring what's changing, you'll be great. A lot of fun.
Well, and there's also other areas around capital markets. So maybe if you're not totally into the math and the stress and keeping up with the market second by second, there are a lot of other places to participate. And I know that in your career, you have, like you mentioned, you've touched a lot of those other places. So
That's
entry points, or transferring over to other departments because you've learned certain things that are capital markets related, I believe has been beneficial for a lot of folks.
Very true. There's a big part of it. I was just talking about mostly being on the desk and the hedging and the trading and knowing what's happening from a lock-in perspective and market. But you're absolutely right. I've managed a lot of different parts of the operation. From the very beginning to the end, from the lock desk, from pricing into the lock desk, and people still need to understand what the market's doing. But you're right, it's not as intense. They can walk out at the end of the day and probably be a little bit, better off than if they're hedging or trading, wondering what their pipeline was going to do
Maybe
overnight.
a little less blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, that's right. Or, in the post-closing and loan delivery, right? Those overlooked people that, are the ones making the money at the very end, the grand finale. I've always fought for those people on the backside doing the loan delivery and the due diligence. That's not something everybody thinks is a whole lot of fun. So there's so much to do, but if everybody's got the same end goal, right?
That's right.
Make sure how you price that loan, make sure it's profitable for the company, and everybody takes a stake in that loan, the grand finale will be you sold that loan at what you expected to sell that loan at.
Well, last question here on our Take 5 before we get to our Fun 5.
Oh.
What recommendation would you give to organizations seeking to improve diversity within their capital markets departments?
I think they have to take a minute and think about it. I think sometimes nature takes over and people just hire because it's easy to hire somebody that they think already knows what to do. I think if they take a look around and they bring anybody in to see what their potential is or find out what their interest is, especially in secondary marketing because not everybody's interested, but don't shut anybody out. Give somebody an opportunity who really has who can tell you, I am very smart, I can figure this out, just help me, just give them a chance to know. I didn't come into this, I came out of college. I didn't plan to do this. I didn't plan to hedge and trade. Didn't even know what it was. I took it for a summer job.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Like you, I'm a cradle capital markets person, so
Yeah.
out of college and needed a job.
Right.
And somehow, I think our personalities and our aptitude and so forth, that was a great place to be in capital markets, trading desks and so forth. But there's so much more to it and to learn, and so I've seen a lot of people come from different places, and that helps with the diversification, I think, in capital markets.
I think so,
recruit
too.
people from different areas. Well, great. Okay, so no more seriousness now, only fun stuff. So, real quick,
boy.
favorite food? I know this answer.
Cheeseburger and a beer, hands down.
Yes, and especially if it's after a conference and late at night, it's even better. How about
Cut that.
That's right. Cut it in half and share it with your friend. Any hobbies or special interests?
My hobbies are pretty much centered around our family and sports and athletics, and whether it's basketball or football. Just came off of watching March Madness, and UF took a tough loss, but we're a little bit of house divided because my husband and I are both from Wisconsin, and our kids both went to the University of Florida, go Gators. So I would say a lot of our life in our world is really around whether it's football, basketball, family tailgate, family football game.
With cheeseburger and beer.
That's right.
How about, is there a book or a periodical or a podcast that you'd recommend or that you enjoy?
Not specifically, Amy. I'm pretty flexible. I do like to read a lot of different things. I'm not one to, I don't follow one author. Murder books are pretty brave for me. Kind of funny, kind of out of my league. I do walk and look down
You're such a nice person.
I know, but it educates me. I know what to look for walking down that hotel lobby.
How about a favorite musician or musical group?
Oh my goodness, I like a lot of different music, from the oldies to reggae to, it just depends, just a lot of fun music. We play
You're
a lot.
so flexible. And last question, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
I think we're overdue for a family visit to Ireland. We were going to go and take my daughter when she graduated from high school, and she was 2020 hit.
Right.
So I think we're due. She's just graduating from college. I think that's on our hit list, to go back to Ireland and look up our ancestors.
That'd be fabulous.
There's got to be a Cullen pub along the way.
Oh, I'm sure there's a Cullen pub there. Well, I'll go with you if you need an extra person. Thank you so much for doing this, for being with us on our Take 5. And to our viewers, be sure to tune in for the next Take 5. You never know who we're going to bring in. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.